Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. So more on Obama's miserable excuse for a jobs plan. This is actually a destroy Social Security plan masquerading, camouflaged as a jobs plan, because more than half of it is a plan to destroy the future solvency of Social Security for the purpose of Obama's short-term demagogic gain. He is a demonic demagogue. He must be dumped. He must be ousted. Bring on the birth certificates. Bring on anything to get this turkey out of there. He is the new Carter. He's cratering precisely along the Carter trajectory. The problem is that's not quick enough. We don't want him out in January of 2013. We want him out now so there's a chance to get some viable candidate in there, because this guy is simply poison. Now, the highway bill, again, the current highway bill, it's an extension of the highway bill, expires at the end of October. This is the 18.4% federal gasoline tax that goes into the Highway Trust Fund. This funds such modernization of highways as we have. We must have an immediate extension. Now, Obama counts that as $50 billion. I don't think that's new money. It shouldn't be counted as new money. $50 billion for highways, and not a whole lot, is it? Then he's got to retrain and rehire teachers and first responders, $35 billion. You can see the Republicans clapped for the first responders, but they scowled when they heard teachers. Republicans hate teachers. One thinks that they hated their teacher in first grade. Modernizing public schools, $30 billion. Republicans don't like that either. They want the private sector to run those, like Milton Friedman says. Rehabilitate vacant property, $15 billion. Well, better than nothing. Infrastructure bank, $10 billion. That's a slush fund for Felix Rohatyn and the boys at Lazard Frere, because that's who's going to run it. That's simply a way to satisfy the demands of these left Wall Street rent seekers. Now, one or two things here do deserve credit. Extending the unemployment insurance benefits, $49 billion. That's fine. That's good. That should be done. We don't need any of this other claptrap around it. Tax credit for hiring long-term unemployed, $8 billion. That's fine. You get a $4,000 tax credit if you hire workers who've been looking for a job over 6 months. That's fine. Why not have an across-the-board job creation tax credit and say, look, Republicans, you guys are saying that your base are these wealthy job creators. Well, let's institutionalize it. Let's give them a tax break if they do create jobs. I'm all for it. But if they don't, then they pay through the nose. If they send jobs overseas, if they're into flight capital, if they're into derivatives buying, work opportunities for low-income individuals, $5 billion. You can see that this is very small bore. The main element is this really demonic attack on Social Security, which has got to be stopped. Now, the Republicans, of course, are happy to stick the knife into Social Security. That's what they're interested in. Also, in a sinister aside, Obama also says more cuts in entitlements are on their way. We don't want any more cuts in entitlements, Obama. We want the Wall Street sales tax, and we want to see you fight for it. Now, this is obviously hopeless, so we want Obama out. The Democrats are, the other thing, of course, in Obama is it's all paid for. Yeah, it's all paid for. But this essentially means that you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. The answer to this is to mobilize the inherent credit creation powers of the central bank to force Bernanke to put out $1 trillion of 0% federal credit, 50 to 100-year maturities, to buy bonds from states and multi-state authorities that are building infrastructure. Let's look at the rest of the U.S. economy. We are now in a sickening downturn into worse depression. The United States Postal Service is the largest company in the world, and they are now reported to be facing a default sometime in the fall as a result of pre-planned sabotage from a Bush-era law that makes them fund their pension plans in advance. This is not necessary. They should pay their pensions, but they should pay it as a pay-as-you-go basis. The problem with the Postal Service is simply that the production of real physical wealth, tangible commodity production in the United States has atrophied. That's what's in decline. It's the largest company in the world. The postal rates in the United States compare extremely favorably to Europe and other parts of the world. It must be maintained. The economy of rural America, the possibility of having business enterprises in rural areas, depends to an extraordinary degree on having a functioning U.S. Postal Service. You need a Saturday delivery, and you need to maintain those 3,000 to 4,000 post offices, and you need to keep those 120,000 postal workers on the job. Otherwise, you're talking about job creation, and at the same time, you're going to let 120,000 important jobs and families go into destitution. Ridiculous. Another sign of U.S. immiseration. Walmart has recreated the layaway plan. This is from the poor old days, where you don't have a credit card, but you can get them to set aside an object you want to buy, say for Christmas, and you make small payments over the 2 or 3 months before Christmas so that you can do it. The U.S. is on the road to being a poor country. Maybe we should change the curriculum in the schools to teach the kids the U.S. is a poor country and we can't afford the social safety net that other people have because we have the free market and we have the finance oligarchs and we have predatory Republicans and Tea Party fanatics. The one other thing in this Obama thing is the green job demagogy is dead. They didn't have anything about, or not much about, green jobs. That's because the third, fourth, or fifth green job solar cell company has now gone bankrupt. This is called Solyndra, and this is a story of rent-seeking once again. They had gotten federal loan guarantees for half $1 billion. They went bankrupt anyway. Part of this is Chinese dumping. Part of this is the need for a protective tariff. But it in particular highlights the fact that green jobs means subsidizing forms of energy that are inherently uneconomical. With those solar cells, they have their uses, they really do, but you've got to face the fact that the energy you put into building one is more than you're ever going to get out of it. Now, it may be that energy in a satellite or in some remote location is just what you need, but it's anti-economical. The more green jobs you have, the poorer you are from that point of view, from the energy point of view. George Kaiser, a Tulsa bigwig, was a big pro-Obama fundraiser. And the word is that George Kaiser was the boss of the owner of Solyndra, and he's a rent seeker. He's like Immelt. He's these people who support Obama because they're going to get the rake off. So, graft. That's what this was. Remember, the 9/11 anniversary is also the anniversary of the Enron crisis, right? With people like Skilling and Ken Lay and Fastow, and how they raped the state of California with their devices, Fat Boy and Death Star and Wheel Out. We should remember this. Back in a minute with some more comment on that.